I stood beside my sister at her wedding. Everything looked perfect. Then I recognized the groom. "We've met before," I said. He smiled. "No, we haven't." I knew he was. My sister, Emily Clark, has always had this way of taking things without anyone calling it taking. Growing up in Charlotte, it was small enough to ignore. Friends I introduced her to would slowly become hers. Plans I made would shift until they felt like her idea. It never looked intentional. That's what made it worse. By the time we were adults, it didn't stop. It just got quieter. In college, I dated someone for almost a year. Nothing dramatic. Then Emily visited for a weekend. By Sunday, she had slept with him. She cried like she was the one who got hurt. Said it didn't mean anything. Said she didn't want to ruin things between us. I remember sitting there, staring at her, thinking, how is this happening again? And somehow, I was the one comforting her. So when she called me years later, voice shaking, saying she met someone and this time it was serious, I didn't react. I just listened. His name was Brian Wilson. Business analyst. Stable job. Calm voice. The kind of guy who sounds reasonable even when he's not saying anything real. When I met him at our parents' house, everyone liked him instantly. My mom warmed up to him within minutes. My dad respected him. Emily looked at him like she had already decided this was her future. And I recognized him before he even finished introducing himself. 3 years earlier, I was working in Denver. Marketing manager. Long hours, corporate clients, nothing unusual. Until one client disappeared overnight. Contracts canceled. Payments frozen. No explanation. People at work started talking. Quietly. Like they didn't want to be heard repeating it. There were rumors about internal financial issues. Money being moved before everything collapsed. Nothing proven. Nothing official. But one name came up more than once. Brian Wilson. He left before anything could stick to him. No charges. No investigation anyone could point to. Just gone. And now he was standing in my parents' dining room, shaking my dad's hand like none of that ever happened. I didn't feel panic. I felt recognition. That kind that doesn't go away. I waited until the room got busy. My mom in the kitchen, Emily distracted, my dad talking about something else. I pulled Brian into the hallway. I kept it simple. "We've met before." He looked at me for a second longer than normal. Not confused. Not trying to place me. Just measuring. Then he smiled. "I don't think so." That was it. No curiosity. No follow-up. No hesitation. Just a clean denial. And something in me locked in place right there. Because innocent people don't respond like that. A week later, I told Emily. Not aggressively. Not like I was trying to ruin anything. I told her about Denver. About the client. About the rumors. I even said I might be wrong. She stared at me like she was waiting for the real reason. Then she laughed. "You always do this," she said. "Every time something good happens to me, you find a way to make it about you." That hit. Not because it was completely false. I've spent most of my life watching things come easier to her. But this wasn't that. "I'm not trying to make it about me," I said. "I just think you should be careful." "He's not like that," she said immediately. "You don't know him." I almost said, that's exactly the problem. But I didn't. And that was the moment I lost my chance to stop it early. After that, she pulled back. Not dramatically. Just enough to feel it. Conversations got shorter. Details disappeared. Wedding planning started, and I wasn't part of it. No dress shopping. No late night calls. Nothing. I became a guest in her life. I told myself maybe I pushed too far. Maybe I was projecting something that wasn't there. But I didn't stop watching. The more I paid attention, the more things didn't sit right. Brian controlled conversations in a way most people wouldn't notice. If Emily got too excited or started talking too much, he would redirect things. Smoothly. Calmly. People followed him without realizing it. He made comments about money that sounded like jokes, but didn't feel like jokes. "People get emotional with money," he said once, smiling. "That's how they lose it." Emily laughed. But there was a second, just a second, where she looked unsure. Another night, during dinner, Emily got up to take a call. Brian picked up her phone and glanced at it. Quick. Casual. Like it was nothing. No one else noticed. I did. None of it was enough. That's what made it so hard. No proof. No clear red flag. Just a pattern that didn't feel right. Not enough to blow up her relationship. So I stayed quiet. Even when she asked me to be her maid of honor. That almost made me say no. It felt like she was trying to prove something. Like if I stood next to her, it meant everything was fine between us. But I said yes. The wedding in Nashville was exactly what you'd expect. Clean. Beautiful. Perfect in a way that didn't leave space for doubt. Emily looked happy. Not just excited. Settled. Like she trusted him completely. I helped her get ready. Fixed her makeup when she cried. Held her bouquet while she adjusted her dress. I played my role. But I kept watching him. Right before the ceremony, she grabbed my hand. "I know you don't like him," she said. But please, just try today. For me, that moment, that's the one I replay. Because I could have said it again. I could have pushed harder. I could have told her everything in a way she couldn't ignore. But I looked at her and all I saw was how sure she was. And I chose her comfort over my instincts. I nodded. I stood next to her as she walked down the aisle. I held her flowers. I listened to her say yes. And I said nothing. For a while, it looked like I was wrong. That's what makes this worse. Because nothing breaks immediately. It settles first. The first few months of their marriage looked normal. Photos. Trips. Dinners. The kind of life people don't question. We didn't talk much. Not like before. Everything between us stayed on the surface. Then one night, about 6 months in, she called me. Her voice was quiet. Not emotional yet. Just off. Can I ask you something? I already knew. Do you remember what you said about Brian? Before the wedding. I remember. There was a pause. I think something's wrong. That's where it started. Not with something big. With small things. Arguments about money. Not loud fights. Controlled ones. The kind where one person always sounds calm and the other ends up questioning themselves. Brian handled all their finances. Said it was easier. Said he was better at it. At first, Emily agreed. Then she started noticing things. Accounts she didn't recognize. Transfers she didn't remember. When she asked him, he always had an answer. You forgot. You told me to move that. You're overthinking it. And slowly, she started believing him. That's how he worked. Not obvious lies. Just enough doubt to make you question yourself. Then one day, she checked an account he didn't think she had access to. That's when it broke. There were debts. Not massive. Not dramatic. Just enough to matter. She confronted him. She told me how calm he was. It's old, he said. From before we met. It's not a big deal. For a week, that worked. Then something worse showed up. Money from her savings had been moved. Not taken. Transferred. Into accounts he controlled. When she confronted him again, he didn't panic. He just looked at her and said, "We're married. It's our money." That's when she called me. This time she was crying. I think you were right. And this is where I became part of the problem. Because I didn't comfort her. I didn't say it's okay. I didn't say we'll fix it. I said I tried to tell you. The second it left my mouth, I knew. That wasn't about helping her. That was about me being right. And for a moment, I felt it. Relief. After years of being dismissed, I finally wasn't the one being ignored. And I hate that. Things didn't explode. They unraveled. Slow. Painful. She started paying attention. Asking questions. Watching everything. And the more she watched, the worse it got. Brian didn't lose control. He adjusted. Changed explanations. Redirected conversations. Kept everything just stable enough to avoid collapse. That's what made it terrifying. He wasn't reacting. He was managing. Eventually, she stopped trusting anything he said. That's when we brought in help. Mark Thompson. Accountant. Downtown Charlotte. He went through everything. Accounts. Transfers. Debts. When he finished, he didn't react emotionally. He just said, "You need to separate your finances immediately." That was it. That was the confirmation. They didn't divorce right away. They separated. That's where things are now. Lawyers involved. Accounts being untangled. Nothing clean. And me? I'm there. Driving her to meetings. Sitting with her when she spirals. Listening when she says she feels stupid. But there's something different now. She looks at me differently. Not angry. Just aware. Like she knows I saw something before she did. And I still let it happen. I keep thinking about that day in Nashville. Standing next to her. Holding her flowers. I could have done more. I could have pushed harder. I could have told our parents. Dug deeper. Made a scene big enough to stop it. But I didn't. I told myself it wasn't my place. But the truth? I didn't want to lose her. And somehow, I lost part of her anyway. So now I keep asking myself, did I respect her choice? Or did I just avoid the risk of being the bad guy? Because I didn't ruin her wedding. I stood there and let it happen. And I don't know if that makes me patient. Or just as responsible for everything that came after. If you were me, would you have done more to stop it, even if it meant losing her? Or do you stay quiet and let someone you love walk into something you already know isn't right?